Hey guys, it's Sarah, and I am making a conscious decision to share some thought process with you right now because one of the things that people ask me all the time, or they tell me that they seem to think that I have everything figured out. And I want to reassure you that I don't have everything figured out. I don't. The only thing I do have figured out is that I know from the bottom of my heart that if I want to grow and I want to work through things, that I have to be willing to show up for the process. I know for a fact that if I want to be, if I want to grow and progress and change and move, I have to be willing to show up for the feelings that I feel, and I have to be willing to be honest about them. So I thought that I might use what I'm feeling right now as an example to you of how I am showing up for a moment that's challenging for me. So for the last 10 days or so, I've been just a little bit more emotional in my life. And I'm sure that some of it has a lot to do with extra hormones from my period. But also, I've just been a bit more emotional. And I've been feeling a little bit more restless in my life. And I've been feeling more present in the truth that I know that I am more and more ready in my life for more. As my dog pops up. I'm starting to really feel in my heart and in my core that I'm ready for more in my life. I'm ready for more. I'm ready for more companionship and more love and more adventure and more joy. I'm just ready for more that I'm experiencing in my life right now. And the key, I know, is to be peaceful with where we are. Not to be content, but to be able to find peace with where we are. And for the most part, I've been doing a really good job the last few months of feeling peaceful about where I am and in my process and not feeling anxious about that. And the last 10 days, I've just been struggling a bit more. I've been struggling with my body a little bit more. Not because I don't believe that I am a beautiful and worthy human being, because I do. I really do. But because I've been struggling with some of my physical changes in my weight loss a bit more. I've been struggling with my loose skin. I've been struggling with the changes in my breasts. I've been struggling a bit more with that. And so every day that I am present in my process, I choose to be kind to my body. I choose to practice self-love and self-care, because that's how we get there, right? We don't just wake up one day and be happy with where we are. We have to consciously choose to be happy even in the middle of things that are trying to tell us otherwise. And again, for the last few months, I've been doing really well with my process and all of it. And just again, the last 10 days or so, I've been feeling a lot more raw and a lot more vulnerable. And I feel like this has culminated a little bit in the last 2 days. And so this morning when I woke up, I could tell that my mood was off. I could feel it. I could tell that my mood was off. I took a shower and I just put on some comfy clothes. I wasn't wearing a bra, and I was just sitting at my desk to do work. And I was feeling really trapped in my thought process. And I knew I wasn't getting anywhere. Like, I could feel it. I could feel that I wasn't getting anywhere. So then I stopped and I reminded myself that I am in control of the energy that I feel. And I am in control of what I focus on. And if I want to not feel this way, then I have to make a conscious choice not to feel this way. I have to do something to change what I focus on, what I say to myself, and the physical state of my being. I have to do 3 things in order to change up what is going on. That's how I have to break that mood. So the first thing that I did was I put the ceiling fan on. You can see it blowing my hair around like a Bad Beyonce video, and I opened up the door to get some fresh air. And then I put some music on, and then I decided to take another shower again. Even though I'd already showered once for today, I decided to get in another shower and just change my energy and change it up and just get in there and do something. And so I got in the shower, and I could feel the hot water on me, and I just started to talk, which I guess is probably like praying, but praying is such a foreign idea to me, right? So I just started to talk. And as I was talking, I just got these waves of deep emotion in me, and I started to cry, but I wasn't crying tears. I started to just make noise, just make sound. And then for some reason I decided to get on my hands and knees, literally, in the bathtub. And I got on my hands and knees, and I was leaning against the back wall, and I, out loud, literally out loud, I just started saying, I am so ready for more, and I cannot do this alone. Please help me. Please help me. And I said, I want to do it all by myself. I want to fix it. I want to shape it. I want to touch it. I want to do it. But I know when I do that, that I am trying to control my life instead of showing up for it. I was literally saying this out loud. And I could feel the water. I could feel the water on the back of my head, and I was leaning against the wall. And I just reminded myself in that moment that when I do that, when I try to control and shape and move the pieces myself, it's when I end up strangling my life. It's when I end up not allowing it to grow. And that's why this past year has been so beautiful, is because I've taken my hands off the wheel in so many ways, and I've just started showing up with willingness, And this is no joke, you guys. Like, in the middle of having this moment in the bath, this is literally no joke. What just happened 20 minutes ago? In the middle of all this, I just started saying to myself, I am guided. I am guided. I am guided. And I just started reminding myself that I am guided. And if I try to be in control, then I am not guided. And I am not letting myself be guided. And as I was sitting there having this moment, I reminded myself that what I talk to other people about, and what I remind other people, is that growth and that getting in touch with our love is really about one thing. It's about the willingness to believe something different other than what you've believed in the past. It's about the willingness to believe even if you don't believe it just yet. You have to be willing to believe it. And that willingness to believe in this one idea again and again and again, if you keep showing up with that willingness and you keep showing up with it, then eventually that will be what you believe, and that will be what you feel. And that is what has gotten me as far as I've gotten this year. That is what has gotten me as far as I've gotten, is this willingness to believe that I am enough, even when I didn't feel it when I first began. The willingness to believe that I am capable and able to have the life that I want, with the love that I want for myself and others. When I first started this journey, I didn't believe that to my heart, but I was willing to believe it because I knew not believing it was only getting me as far as I was getting, and I knew enough to know that I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be inside and outside. So I knew in my heart that if I needed something to be different, then I had to be willing to believe something different, even if that was totally foreign to me. And so I realize now that my willingness to believe that I spent a year being willing to believe the idea that I am enough and that I am worthy and that I am enough and I am worthy. And you want to know what? I believe that down to my core now. I believe that so deep. And even if others don't know that or see that, it's what I believe. Because I was willing to do the work to get to that point. And now that I believe that, and now that I know that, and now that I want so much more for myself and my life, I have to be willing to believe that I will be guided towards that if I keep showing up. And it's not for me to control what's going to happen next, and it's not for me to control and try and strangle this path, but it is for me to keep showing up. So I left this moment reminded that the idea that I have to keep saying to myself what I have to be willing to say, what I have to be willing to believe, because I do believe that if I am willing to believe something, then I will feel it. If I am willing to believe that, then I will make it so. If that is what I focus on, then that is what I will feel, and that is what I will manifest in my life. I truly believe that. So now, for me in this journey, I must be willing to believe that I am guided. I must be willing to take my hands off the wheel a little bit. I must be willing to be guided. And what you see, this is not sadness. It's just processing, you know? And I thought to myself, when I got out of the shower, how can I share this with you? How can I share this with you? Because I want you to see that being more happy and balanced from the inside out, it's a conscious choice and sometimes a struggle that you have to be willing to slog through. You have to be willing to fight for yourself because you know that you're enough, even if you don't know what that looks like, right? True happiness is about working with where you are and being honest with that and saying, I choose to be positive about this. I choose to work through this. I choose to move forward versus letting yourself get stuck. So I want you to see honestly that that's challenging sometimes, and I don't want you to be scared of those challenges. The one thing that I do that people ask me all the time, how can I do what you do? And I say, you can do every single thing I do. You just have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to do hard stuff. You have to be willing to look at what it is you're really afraid of. What is it that you're really afraid of when you're feeling anxiety and you're feeling panic? What is that anxiety and panic really about? What is the fear that you are really feeling that is how it is manifesting? What are you feeling? And until you are willing to get real about what it is that you are feeling, you will never, ever, ever move past it. And that shit will follow you. It will follow you through every job. It will follow you from every relationship. It will follow you with every life choice you make. Because it will keep coming back again and again and again in different forms until you are willing to look at it in the eye and say, I am willing to look at you. So I just want you to know that whatever it is that you are struggling or you're going through right now, none of us, even people that you look up to, if I'm someone you look up to, even people like me, we don't have it figured out. But what we have is a willingness to show up. And what we have is a willingness to be present. And what we have is a willingness to do the dirty work in our heads and in our hearts. And what we have is a willingness to have faith in the process and a willingness to show up. That's it. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you.